about 11:15, and I just finished moving one whole storage to another storage. How do you like that? Mother God, I thought I was just gonna die there. Literally. I was beat. I've been doing it for hours and hours and hours. So, oddly enough, there's this young couple with a little girl that's just the cutest. She's probably about 8 or 9. And, they had to move in 24 hours. Sheriffs were standing by, and it was horrible. And what had happened is they're renting a house for like $1,700, right? And they rented it through Sundance Realty, which is like a management company. They handle a lot of people's properties for them. And the owner wanted to sell, and the owner gave orders to Sundance to get the people out of the house. So they had a eviction notice from the owner to Sundance on that property. So something's wrong somewhere, because these people never got a 15-day notice. Bear in mind, they're paying almost $2,000 a month rent. And that's a whole bunch of money. And he's a mechanic. He works on cars, and he buys them and fixes them up, resell them. So anyway, they were out of state for a funeral, and they got back, and there was a 5-day notice, I guess, on the door that had already expired. They called the courthouse. They tried to write a letter to the judge, seize the judge, whatever they could do, and they told them it's too late. And so, next thing you know, the sheriffs are telling them they got 24 hours to get out. And they're like, what? Now, they pay rent and everything, so it's not like they didn't pay rent or anything like that. And, I mean, they had to move out like the fire sale. It was just horrible. And, so, that's why they were moving to storage. And I asked them if they would let me interview them for YouTube so they could tell their story. I told them you don't have to give your real name, that we can do it without your faces, whatever is good for you, you know. It's up to you how you like to do it. And so they said, yeah, that sounds great. And so we exchanged numbers and that, and then I gave them some hookups I gave them the number to the legal services, because something needs to be done. There were some people evicted over by, really dirtily evicted over by the Waterfront Mission, that were living in corner property, and apparently they are plowing it down now. They sold that land off to somebody to build something, while these people were living in the house, and that they were like booting them out instantaneously, and they had nowhere to go. And they beat them, and they ended up getting $7,000-8,000 so they could move, which was really great, because they had already put them out on the street. It was horrible. So this is getting just out of control in the Fort Walton area. These landlords need to be put in jail, because it's ruthless. It's not even legal. If you have a month-to-month lease, they're supposed to give you at least a 15-day notice. sure isn't a lot. I absolutely disagree with 15-day notice. I mean, there's just no way to move. Unless you can afford to pay beacons to come in and pack you up and move you. Which I don't know many people who do that nowadays. And especially there's like only one of you or something like me. You know, it's a huge problem. But they're supposed to do a 15-day notice, and then if you don't get that done or make some arrangement with the landlord, then the landlord will attempt to evict you, and they have to prove that the service on the 15-day notice and everything to the court and all that, and then the court will send the sheriffs out to serve you or post to the property you're living on. Like they'll tape it on the door or whatever. A 5-day notice. Okay. And you have 5 days to respond, and you better do it quick. Not counting weekends or holidays. But you better do it quick. And you have to put a letter into the judge and tell them your situation, whatever. And then what they do is they want you, if the landlord has mentioned anything about rent, of what your normal rent is, or that you owe rent as of whatever day or something, then you have to post your rent to the court, plus a percentage fee, which in the Okaloosa County area is pretty high. If your rent's $1,000, you gotta put up like $280 to have the court handle it. So that's really bad, because some people don't even have that. The pandemic's really put people out bad. But if you don't respond on that 5-day notice, then the judge signs an order to the sheriffs to give you exactly 24 hours. And you better have everything you need out of the place by that 24th hour, because the sheriffs are going to be there to lock you out. And that's the end. And you can't break in and go back and get your stuff, any of that kind of thing. So then you have an eviction on your record, and that will go for 7 years on your record. And it becomes very difficult to rent if you apply at a complex or a real estate broker that does background check, whatever. As soon as I see the eviction, they're like, we're done. Florida is really, really tough because they don't want to rent to you if you've been evicted. They don't want to rent to you if you have any legal background at all. Forget it. It is not going to happen. So be prepared, because they won't touch you. And when you put up the money for your application, you won't be getting it back if you don't pass. Now, a friend of mine did one and paid like $175 for an application for Heather Glen apartments in the Fort Walton area, and they took months to get the thing going, and then said, okay, you're approved. And the one that he wanted was like $1,100. So then they turned around and they said, after they said he was approved, they said, okay, so if we've got that unit ready, but it's going to be $1,400. And he was like, do what? And he said, that's not what we agreed upon. I said, well, it's $1,400. So he lost the money he paid to pass the background check and everything and the financial thing and all that because it was a bogus deal. And that should be illegal too. They shouldn't even be able to take your money. That should be applied towards your first month's rent or refunded. That's not even right, you know. So I really think they need to have like a renters union or something because this is just out of control. When I talked to the girl at Legal Aid the other day that works there, I had asked her, I said, I mean, there are a lot of cases here where people have paid rent and are getting tossed out because the landlords want to sell so bad because the market's real high. She says, yeah, hundreds. Just hundreds. It's just ruthless. So, something definitely needs to be done. Now, they did mention there's like a $150,000 fine if a landlord evicts you during the pandemic. So, I'm going to research into that and see where we can report these people. And let's get them whacked on that fine and hopefully put them in jail where they belong. Because, I mean, this is just horrible to put people on the street. Here's this young couple with a little bitty girl. You know how hard that is on a kid? You know how hard that is on a kid when the sheriffs are at the door? You know? Arguing with your parents going, like you got 24 hours. You know what that's like? How about the part where the kid is standing there while you're moving everything into storage because you got no home? You know, that's really hard on a child. It really is. And here's these people, the guy works hard, makes his money, pays almost $2,000 a month rent, and is put on the street in 24 hours. Wham! And if they hadn't come back soon enough after that funeral out of state, their stuff had just been gone. What do you think about that? They wouldn't even know. They would just come home and the house would be empty and locks changed, utilities off, and for sale sign out front. Wouldn't that be unreal? Especially with the cold weather right now. It's been, you know, really cold this week for Florida. You know? Don't think everybody has a big enough car for the whole family to sleep in. Because they don't. This guy drove a truck. Yeah. So, something needs to be done. Let's see if we can get something together on this. If you have any suggestions, comment below. If you've got any resources, comment below with that. And let's see what we can get done. I'm going to try to find as many people as I can that are being put out like this. Because it's wrong. It's grossly and horribly wrong. I know a military family that just left because the landlord is a real estate broker and kept trying to jack the rent on them, like another $250, and he was like, no. And he literally got a transfer to Washington and bought a house online without even seeing it in person or anything. Bought a big house online and said, I'm done. And they're moving to Washington blind, just blind. Yeah. So, something needs to be done. Something truly needs to be done, including my landlord, who told somebody the other day that she had a place coming up for $1,500 a month, which I do hope it's not the one that I just moved out of. She's had mine up for sale for a very, very long time and can't sell it because it's raggedy. It's wore out and it's old. And she won't put the money in to renovate it to get it up to date and decent so that somebody would want to buy it, because it's just so much work. And her price was way too high to begin with at the beginning. Well, before the pandemic, she was way over the market rate, like double, almost triple, and nobody wanted to buy it. So she'd rent it for 4 months and then do it again, rent it for 4 months and do it again. But she couldn't sell it because it's raggedy. So, I mean, it was just heartbreaking. I just wanted to cry. You know, I thought my life was rough. I really thought it was really a bummer, but, you know, I just had to deal with it. But here's some people that are worse off than me. 24 hours to move. Young couple and a child. And a house is almost $2,000 a month. That's like really a righteous house in this area. You're paying almost $2,000 a month. That is a righteous house. Okay? No lie. And that's in the Fort Walton area. That's not Destin. Destin, the average house is normally about that. But, oh, there's the sheriff's and a tow truck. And here's a guy sitting in the entire middle of the street. Holy heck. I can't believe they didn't go after this clown parked in the middle of the intersection. But looks like somebody had a slight problem over there at Tom Thumb with the sheriff and the tow truck. Probably take them to jail and tow them the car away. So, hey, what was cool today was I was still moving, and the sheriff's pulled right up across the front door of the storage I saw. And I thought, gosh, that's great. And, you know, I already knew that they're on after the security closes at the mall, which is like 7 or 8. So then the sheriff stay all the rest of the time till the mall reopens in the morning. But that was really super neat. I pulled up to the door and waited there for a minute, you know, watching the storages. Make sure things are copacetic. Make sure there's not people boondocking in there and stuff. So that was a very good feeling for me. I felt very safe. The area is okay. I'm not bothered with the area. The sheriff's told one of the girls that work here and it's just a horrible area. I said, no, it's not. My daughter's dad worked at that old building. It was Sears. They worked at that old building years ago. And it was fine back then. It's still nice now. I would not mind living right in that area myself. Now it's holding at 57. That's way better than I've been dealing with this week. This 34 and 40. Woo! Rough. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great evening. It was great visiting with you, as always. And tell me your thoughts. thoughts below. Let's see if we can get some folks some help and get some attention from the government or something to do something, because this is just unreal. It really is. They just can't just keep throwing people out left and right because you want to sell your property for 3 times the price. There's got to be some more notice, some kind, some way, somehow. That's just not enough. It's not even fair. So you guys have a good evening. Do something kind for a stranger. Love everybody.